Hello and welcome. What have we got today? Over the next 2 hours, we are going to go state by state for the entire country and in the end, come up with a forecast of what's happening right now across the country in these elections. What are we basing this on? We are not basing it on exit polls or post-exit or post-voting polls. All the results we're giving are based on opinion polls, some up to 2-3 days before, some a week before. So everything today is based on opinion polls right across the country. Now we've been tracking opinion polls in February, in March, and this is the first week of April, all these results. We will be looking at it the second and third week of April and right up to voting day, in fact, but all based on opinion polls. The basic idea of this is to see what impact the campaign has had. There are some cynicists who say, cynical people who say that campaigns really have no impact. Well, do they? And do they have greater impact in some states than in the others? And you'll be seeing, yes, it does vary. Some states, somebody benefits, other states, others benefit, but there is generally some change, although not everywhere. So we'll go state by state. So we've got 18, 19 big states to cover over the next 2 hours. And we'll be looking at not only what's happening, but why. And do remember, there's still a month to go, so things can still change over the next 4 weeks. Let's get right into it, and then we'll get all our experts. But the person who will give us the reason why these figures are so accurate, although let me tell you, exit polls are more accurate than these opinion polls. But Dora, but even your opinion polls are so good. Kya kare?
That's right.
I mean, makes it mock. I mean, I don't know why people do exit polls
at all. That's right.
Okay, let's go into the first state, Bihar. Let's have a look at what's happening there. First, let's have a look at the seats forecast in. This is the first week of April. Out of 40 seats, the BJP and its allies, 24. That's a gain of 12 since the last elections. The RJD and the Congress, that's Lalu and the Congress, 12 up 6. And Nitish Kumar, 4 down 16 seats. Now, that still doesn't mean that he won't win an assembly election, but in the Lok Sabha elections, he is really losing out in this election. The break from the BJP has cost him a lot in this Lok Sabha election, and it is this general trend across the country that seems to be affecting Bihar as well. Now, what about votes? The BJP, 35%. We're not giving swings here because the alliances were so different last time. The RJD, Lalu and the Congress, 28%. And Nitish Kumar's JDU, 21%. That's the vote percentages. Finally, let's have a look at the trend since first the last elections and then over the last 3 months, our 3 big polls. Now here's the last election. Nitish, 20, BJP, 12. Remember, they got 32 together as an alliance. And the RJD and Congress together, if you look back, got 6. That was how it was, and that was so long ago. Look at what happened in the February poll. A bit complicated. The BJP went from 12 to 23. The JDU, that's Nitish, from 20 to 5, just hold the graphic a second, and the RJD from 6 to 11 and stayed at 11 up to March. The BJP plateaued at 23, about 21, but now has gone up to 24. So it's maintaining it, has not dipped at all in Bihar. The RJD 12, 11, 11, 12, 6, 11, 11, 12, and the JDU down from 20 to 4 seats, 25, 6, 4. So no recovery, Dora, by Nitisha.
Yeah, and actually a slight movement upward by the Congress. You know, we're trying to get some figures now. We haven't got them yet on Muslims and Yadavs voting. And I think there is some reason to believe the Muslims are consolidating now, more towards Lalu and the Congress, and not as much with Nitish. And probably that's accounting for their stable performance. But we'll hopefully get the figures before the end of the program.
But Shekhar, if I can bring you in here, it's a fairly dramatic percentage by the BJP. Is this part of a general trend you feel in the Hindi belt that is beginning to take effect and increase week after week, little by little?
It looks like that. First of all, it's not reversing. If you see the trend, say in 2004, you had begun to get the sense as new phases of polls were held that BJP's sort of initial lead was waning a little bit. But now, on the other hand, you see it picking up. And I think part of the reason this is happening is that Congress seems to have thrown in the towel very soon in this election.
Zoya, has the Congress thrown in the towel, you feel?
Well, I think Congress hasn't really put up a good fight. That I think is very clear, that from the very beginning they haven't really organized a very effective campaign. It seemed to be picking up a couple of weeks ago, but obviously it was too late by the time it was picking up.
Do you feel it has not caught the imagination, they're not connected with the voter this time, or what's happened?
Well, I think there is an anti-Congress mood. And there's
which
anti-incumbency of
10 years of any government in power.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in power for 10 years. So there is anti-incumbency, there's an anti-Congress mood. And there, of course, there are some good reasons for that anti-Congress mood. But the point is not that there's an anti-Congress mood. I think the point is that Congress hasn't really mounted an effective campaign by way of strategy, tactics, mobilization. None of that seems to have been very, very effective.
Shari.
And, one more thing, as she said, there's one more reason why, because the Congress doesn't have a leader in Bihar, it doesn't have an organizational setup in Bihar. And this is for last 20-25 years now. The last,
I would like to say, Chari,
the last leader in Bihar, I remember, was some Abdul Ghafoor or some
Kedar Pandey.
No, but can I just say that in Bihar, while there's an organizational setup for the BJP, in the popularity polls, Sushil Kumar Modi doesn't do very well. So you don't have a really strong leader. So this is not for Sushil Kumar Modi.
This is a Modi.
This is for Narendra Modi.
The other Modi.
Modi.
Namo.
People in Bihar, as you very rightly said, probably in the assembly elections, the things could be very different.
Yes.
But if you see from 32% last time, the last poll we did,
Yes, yes.
the BJP has gone to 35%.
Right.
The,
Which is
the JDU has gone down from 23 to 21.
Yes.
JDU has gone down. The
Right.
Congress RJD has not gone down. From 27 they have gone to 28. So there is a 1% increase there, but the seats have not increased. This again proves the same thing. If BJP is able to say do well in another 1 or 2%, the seats could go up marginally, much greater for the BJP and very marginally for the RJD Congress.
Okay.
Pranay, I'll add something to what Zoya said. It's not just the campaign. I think just the Congress party's incompetence and laziness in approaching this election has been colossal. How can you go to the polls in this era of coalitions without allies in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal? It looks like you don't want to fight this election.
Actually, they're losing on the arithmetic of the election.
Absolutely.
You're right.
And
but
this
I
was-
do
this was
want
no
to say
secret
one
to
thing,
anybody.
that please understand these are opinion polls.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
can be wrong. They have a plus or 2% error rate in state-wise. Maybe not all India, because some states compensate for the other. But 2% is a lot. And I would warn you about what happened in Indonesia recently. All the polls said the leading party was going to get 30%. It ended up with 19%. And that leading party was meant to be bringing in liberalization, and the markets shot up 40% in anticipation based on the polls. And instead of getting 30%, which crossed the threshold there you need of 25, they got 19.
I think one way or the other,
But they obviously
we'll
didn't
need
have
to
Dorab
send Dorab to
Supariwala there.
Indonesia.
That's the problem.
If
That's
he's
the
right, they
problem.
need him. If he's not
you
right,
send
he better go to Indonesia.
I've been getting letters from there, but you know,
No, I
even
said,
though
I
he's
said
lazy.
if he's not right,
Absolutely.
he still better go to Indonesia.
No, I think the real story of Bihar is the BJP's ability to re-establish itself as a credible national player in a state that it was once, very powerful and it has surrendered its position. So it doesn't surprise me that the BJP, particularly with 35% of the vote share in a three-cornered contest, in fact, 24 may also be an underestimate in terms of seats. The big picture, however, is that the BJP's gain is still the NDA's loss. In the sense, NDA brought 32 seats in 2009. So, net-net, the NDA will enter the next Lok Sabha, if these polls are correct, with a diminished tally from Bihar. And I think that's an important point that we shouldn't lose sight of, that BJP has done well to...
BJP plus Nitish last time
Yes.
will be just the BJP
32.
this time.
Yeah, exactly. So it was
And
32 last, NDA was 32
Quite
last
right,
time.
quite
So this
right.
time it will be 24,
And
if this poll is correct. And I think
Right.
that's, in terms of the overall arithmetic,
Yes,
it's
very
important not to
important.
lose sight of this fact.
Good point.
Also, Pranay, I might add that in Bihar, I think the Congress RJD alliance, although it happened, but again, I think they took too long over it. And by the time they actually forged the alliance, the campaign was well underway. So this has been the story in many other states as well.
Right. Sudhindra, just a quick comment on Bihar, because then I want to move on very quickly because we've got so many states to go through. Do you think Nitish made a mistake, and a lot of people in the Congress are saying that Nitish Congress was a better combination, but that was an impossible task politically?
See, JDU will certainly do badly this time, but this election has also seen a very visible disappearance, vanishing of the NDA. In 2014, there has not been a single NDA meeting convened by the BJP leaders. There is no NDA manifesto. In 2004, 2009, there were NDA manifestos before the election. This time, no NDA. It's only BJP. So this overconfidence of the BJP that we will be close to the halfway mark, we have to see whether people give them that kind of mandate. But it shows the BJP's lack of confidence in alliance building and coalition management, and it's going to be a very decisive factor if the BJP does form a government.
Right, and it used to be very good at alliance. I've always said the BJP understands the arithmetic and the psephology of elections better. Let's go quickly on. I would like to come to Enram, but go to two more states, to Assam and Tamil Nadu, and then get Ram's view on all three. This is the situation in Assam, the latest right up to the first week of April. Opinion polls, no exit polls. There has been some voting here, but we've not used any exit poll data. So the Congress, 9 out of 14. That's up 2 since the last elections. The BJP, 5, a gain of 1, and that is better than the last two polls. And the AJP not opening its account. Let's have a look at the vote percentages. Here they are. In all the 14 seats we're talking about, the Congress 42%. That's a gain, a swing of 7% in its favor. The BJP 37, up 21%. So, going up 21 but not getting that many seats, there's a clear trend there. And the AGP basically halving its percentage vote. Let's just go into Tamil Nadu and have a look at that. Thought I was losing my mind for a minute. Let's have a look at Tamil Nadu, 39 seats, AIDMK 22, a gain of 13 since last time. This is there are changes in alliances here, so these differences are based on exactly the seats that AIDMK got last time. The DMK 14, so 22-14, and the BJP and its allies, mainly its allies, PMK and MDMK, getting 3 seats there. Let's have a look at the vote percentage here. Here it is, AIDMK 40%, the DMK 31%, and the BJP and its allies 14%. Now important though is, let's have a look at the trend. Let's hope the graphs are correct here. I'm sure they are. DMK last time 19, AIDMK on its own 12. What happened in the poll in Feb? The AIDMK had gone up to 27 while the DMK came down to 10. Huge change. The AIDMK then peaked a little and started plateauing off in March, 25 to 11, and this time it is beginning to taper off a bit, and the DMK is starting to pick up. Now, Ram, if these figures are correct and this trend is correct that the DMK is starting to pick up, how is it managing to counter all the 2G scam and the corruption and the fact that it doesn't have an ally this time?
Pranay, I'd first like to say that if the gap between number 1 and number 2 is, as you say, 9 percentage points in a 4-cornered fight, then the gap in seats would be wider than 22 to whatever.
22 to 14,
I would,
you could be
bet
right.
on
Yeah.
upward of 25 if in a four-cornered fight.
Right,
Because
right.
we have experience of that from 1977 and also 1989.
You know what's happening this time, Ram?
If those figures,
You know why this is happening? Because of the breakup of the AIDMK alliance, a lot of the other parties are strong in certain areas. So their votes are concentrated. So if we've gone region-wise and found that overall, while the AIDMK is doing well, in certain areas it's losing seats because it lost its ally there that has pockets of advantage. But you could be right, yeah. Votes to seats conversion is always a tough thing.
yeah, because my understanding is that
Yes,
in Tamil
yes.
Nadu it's across the board largely, but let's wait and see. But
Right.
I would attach more significance to your 9 percentage point lead than to the actual breakdown, but let's wait and see.
Yep.
I think the DMK has waged a pretty good campaign in this, with Stalin exerting himself. I think his eye is on the 2016 assembly poll, and the impression on the ground and from journalists, reporters who are covering it is that the DMK is putting up a pretty good fight. It's about the BJP's alliance that there is some doubt, but I think your figures, I think, confirm my impression that they are far behind number 1 and number 2. The DMK has waged a good campaign to make it much tighter than we thought in the first instance.
What are they campaigning? What are the main points they are raising in their
and so on, they're
campaign?
putting up. I think they are raising issues like the power shortage, appealing to their traditional bases on Sri Lanka, on reservation and so on. A very traditional campaign by the DMK, just reinforcing their own positions on a number of issues like that. And there is a sameness to the two campaigns, especially as Chief Minister Jayalalitha has now come out criticizing both Congress and the BJP. For the first time in the campaign, she has targeted the BJP, of course, specifically on the Kaveri river water dispute, saying that they are tilting towards Karnataka and have not done justice to Tamil Nadu. So I think there's a certain sameness about the campaign, which explains the narrowing of the race, perhaps. But the DMK is a strong organization on the ground, and it is clear that the Alagiri factor has not made any significant difference.
Right, that's interesting actually, yeah. That was seemed like a big decision in the party and has no impact at all, yeah. But 2G and Mr. Raja, is there a bit of a sympathy factor for him?
I think it's, I don't think so. I don't think, but I think the Nilgiris, we hear that it's a very strong campaign by Raja. I don't think there's sympathy on account of 2G, but it's, 2G is only one of the issues that are being raised
Right.
in this campaign.
What you seem to be saying is mainly
A number of
local
other
issues.
because, pardon?
You seem to have been highlighting mainly local issues in the campaign. Is that what the focus has been on? Power shortage?
Yes, the power shortage and the reinforcement of their traditional positions rather than attacking each other too much, because there is a sameness to the campaign. So it's a new type of campaign where they're not just targeting each other in the old way, because there are other targets to fight. In particular, anti-Congressism is very strong in this particular campaign. The AIDMK has really targeted the Congress. Only very recently even mentioned the BJP, took on the BJP. But the DMK, I think, has waged a very traditional campaign, reinforcing its own, speaking to its own position, Sri Lanka, the Kaveri water dispute, reservations, and so on. So I think that's what it is, and the power shortage, of course. Whereas the AIDMK has been pointing to the several welfare measures that have got quite a lot of publicity in the press before this.
So Dorab, would Mr. Modi having gone to see Rajnikant, would that have an impact? You wouldn't have picked it up in this
but
poll.
one doesn't know, but I think if Mr. Rajnikant would have joined Mr. Modi, I think they would have an impact.
Huge.
But I think,
been huge. But
Mr. Rajnikant has resisted temptations from many political parties over the years. If he succumbs, I think it will make at least 5-7% difference. It makes a big difference. He's king, after all, of Tamil Nadu.
But the fact that they met and they gave enough photo ops slightly looks, I mean, like the cadre is recharged.
Yeah, so if he can manage to get that done.
It has sent a little bit of a worrying factor for both DMK and ADMK. They did not expect the Southern Star to, move so much towards.
Yeah, you see, one thing to bear in mind that unless he picks up more than 8-10%,
Yes.
the extra 5% doesn't get him seats.
In fact,
He gets him votes.
what makes
So you need to
the-
pick up a lot more to start getting more seats.
What makes this interesting is that because of a lot of the hype by the BJP in Tamil Nadu on the back of the alliance that they've managed to strike with MDMK, but also with with DMDK, but also in Pondicherry, for example, getting the ruling party into the NDA. They're talking of trying to, getting as many as, there's talk of 5 to 8 seats in BJP circles. And I think somewhere down, I mean, it seems like a vast exaggeration, but what makes it piquant is that Jayalalitha is a potential ally in case Mr. Modi falls short by 30 or 40 or more, and if the NDA falls short.
But they've started being attacking each
Precisely,
other now.
because the more you talk up the BJP or the BJP plus front prospects in Tamil Nadu, the more is going to be the tension between the BJP and ADMK. So how durable this tension will be and whether it carries on. So at one level, a spectacular performance by the BJP plus will actually make things very difficult for Jayalalitha to, in terms of supporting Modi in the future.
Right. Let's move on to Andhra Pradesh and have a look at Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Let's have a look at the seats and votes in Andhra, then the seats and votes in Telangana. Here's what the latest position is for Andhra Pradesh. Seam Andhra, you can call it, but I think everybody there prefers to call it the real Andhra Pradesh. And there's Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So we'll call it Andhra Pradesh. 25 seats. The Telugu Desam is now up to 15. The Telugu Desam BJP alliance. And remember, BJP is not that strong in this part, because BJP was quite instrumental in creating Telangana, but it has helped enormously the TDP improve its chances here. The YSRC, 9. Of course, it didn't exist last time, so that's a gain of 9, but it's come down since our earlier polls. And Jagan Reddy will be very disappointed with that. This again does not reflect what's happening in the state assembly, which goes simultaneously, because of course TDP plus BJP has the Modi impact even here. But the Congress, which got 21 out of these 25, are just decimated here. And here's what the vote forecast looks like. This is first week of April for all the 25 seats in Seamandhra, Andhra Pradesh. Telugu Desam and BJP 46%. The YSRC 38%. And the Congress down to 10%. And this was a Congress bastion.
It was the state with the largest number of seats for the Congress across the country.
Both
The old
Telangana
Andhra,
and
the old Andhra.
the old Andhra. Let's have a look at Telangana. Remember here there are 17 seats. There used to be 42 seats, so it's 25-17. The TRS, 8. That's up 6. The Congress, 5. That's down 7 since the last election. I mean, it has decimated itself. I think as Shekhar was saying, no alliance here. It's just killed it. How can you go into election without thinking of the arithmetic of an election? And finally, let's have a look at the trend here. And the BJP 3 here, along with the TDP, because the BJP actually was doing quite well in Telangana. On its own, in February, it had about 18% of the vote. So with 4-5 in certain pockets of Telangana, it is actually gaining 4-5% from the TDP, its ally. It's actually doing quite well. So TRS, 31%. The Congress, second. Let's have a look at that with 27%. And the BJP plus the TDP. TDP not very strong here, maybe adding 3, 4, 5% maximum. but the BJP is 18 and together 25%. So if you look at the trend now, just January to February, March and now April, the TRS started in February with 11, went down to 7, the Congress went up from 5 to 7, and the BJP just opened its account and went up to 2. Then this is what happened. The TRS has just increased a bit from 7 to 8, while the Congress dipped here from 7 to 5, which has been a gain by the BJP. So the dip of 2 seats of the Congress, 1 has gone to the TRS and 1 to the BJP. So now it's 8-5-3. Again, Shekhar, disappointing for the Congress.
Well, you know, I mean, frankly, it's difficult to understand them because everybody knows that you need alliances. They've had alliances in the past. I know it's not always possible for a party which is not seen as the front runner, particularly when someone else is the front runner. So allies don't want to come. But that's when you have to get into the act. Look at the BJP. They had Muralidhar Rao sitting in Tamil Nadu for 3 months. Chare Saab? 3 months. He was working on every single possible coalition partner there. Congress party, I believe, somebody made one phone call to, not even to Karnataka, to Balu. Right? So that is not the way you work with these leaders. I think somehow Congress party seems to have figured that some khichdi will come in, after a year will come back. So I think they've worked very hard to produce a khichdi, except the khichdi may not exactly follow the recipe that they had drafted.
But Zoya,
in Telangana, you said Congress percentage of votes is how much?
27%, yes.
See, it's surprising how the Congress has decided to fritter away the 27% of their votes. And look at this, TRS has got only 31%. And TRS, last time they moved up from 30 to 31%. It's not a very jump, it's a huge jump. No, just 1%. The Congress is still able to retain 27% of the votes, but still they are losing 7 seats. It's only because nobody wants to contest, no Congress leader worth his name from the center wants to contest, except probably Jaipal Reddy and a handful of persons, and the number of congressmen and women have shifted their base from Congress to
I just wanted to
either
go back
TRS
to
or BJP and so many
I just
other
want to
parties.
go back a second to Andhra Pradesh and look at the trend since our first poll, February, March, April. It's quite revealing what's happening in Andhra Pradesh, the Seamandhra part. 25 seats here, remember. The trend, we started in the poll in February with YSRC at 15 out of the 25, doing extremely well. The TDP, not 100% sure of any alliance with the BJP at that time, just 9, and the Congress decimated for obvious reasons. People blame it for forming Telangana. Then by March, when the alliance with the BJP started becoming clear, it was TDP overtaking quite dramatically, gaining 5 seats and the YSRC losing 5 seats. So 14-10, and that trend has continued. So the TDP, Telugu Desam with Chandrababu Naidu along with the BJP gone from 9 to 15 during this campaign. And the YSRC from 15 down to 9. Now Ram, this is a smart move by Chandrababu Naidu to ally with the BJP, have some alliance. Even though the BJP is not that strong in this area, even 4-5%, the arithmetic of that has given it a huge boost in terms of the number of seats. It's won all the marginal seats. Ram?
Yes, what strikes you is, yes, Pranoy, what strikes one is that the opportunism reflected in the timing of the decision to bifurcate the state of Andhra Pradesh, that has not paid off for the Congress, and the BJP's perhaps calculation in supporting this proposition has paid off. Starting with a very low level, if not zero, it has got its calculations right, struck the right alliances, certainly in Seamandhra, but also to some extent in Telangana, if your figures are right. So it's a smart move by the BJP here, and the Congress, apart from decimating its party organization, has blundered badly in making this opportunist move. I speak about the timing, merits of the decision apart. The timing to do it close to the election, that has failed to deliver what it thought a huge loss for the Congress, apart from the impact on organization, morale, and so on. So it's a big defeat, huge setback for the Congress, which they probably richly deserved because of the opportunism.
It's useful to compare Jagan's performance in our poll with the YSRC's performance in the by-elections that were held over the last 6 to 8 months.
Right.
There we saw YSRC literally sweeping everything away, right?
Sweeping everything.
So the story seems to be the precipitous decline in the YSRC's support in AP, in Simandra. Trying to understand why this may be the case, it seems that there is a perception within the Simandra that a vote for Jagan will essentially become a vote for Congress. Jagan is aware of this. He's been sending signals repeatedly that eventually he will support NDA at the center. But this seems to be in the minds of Simandra voters, something that they just cannot get their heads around. And I think for them, going with TDP, despite the negative dynamics that association with BJP brings, there's a positive element, but there's also negative, that BJP ultimately was complicit in the creation of Telangana in the eyes of Simandra people. But the plus-minus effect seems to be working in favor of TDP.
Actually, one thing which we haven't been able to capture, and we're trying to find a way of capturing it, is this just the BJP, or is this part of the Modi impact even stretching to Andhra? And we can't tell that difference properly, because in the minds of the voter it's also not very clear. He says both BJP and Modi. And what do you feel? This slight,
I think Modi factor also plays an important role, because we did 5 very big meetings. The first meeting was pre-Telangana issue came up in the parliament, and at that time we were also worried that it's really going to be a big show. But that was a wonderful show and a very big show, where Modi took a line that whether Telangana is done or not, whatever happens, people on both sides of the division are ours, so we'll have to develop for both. So this was the indication that was given. And the bulk of the minus factor that the Congress party should have actually had, or probably the BJP or TDP should have had, has very unwittingly gone to Kiran Kumar Reddy, the Chief Minister, who ultimately did not agree with the centre and left. And today, if you see the polls, he is nowhere. So what should have actually affected the BJP or the TDP has actually affected Kiran Kumar Reddy, and he is the fall guy in the entire process. And on the face of it, except for the BJP and TDP, no other party could jump into the fray and say that, look, we will do justice for both. So this probably convinces the people that ultimately, if it is going to be a NDA government, BJP-led NDA government at the center, and all the money that we are going to require, something like 10,000 crores, is going to come from this party. So let us align with that party right from today. That is a very big factor in Andhra Pradesh.
But I think, again, as Shekhar was mentioning, the arithmetic of this election, for the Congress not to tie up with the TRS and sweep every single seat in Telangana, was just, they should have given enough,
But,
in the bargaining, give a lot to the TRS. It's arithmetic. Sorry.
Congress has to learn that it cannot always be the senior partner now. It has to learn to be a junior partner in places other than Tamil Nadu as well.
Right.
But in this case, to me, the most mystifying is Tamil Nadu. I mean, to go to elections in Tamil Nadu without an ally, you have to be out of your mind.
But Pranay,
Actually, history has shown that you're right.
if we look at Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and we are going to be looking at Kerala, with the exception of Telangana, where BJP, with the exception of Andhra Pradesh, where BJP might be doing well because of its alliance with TDP, it doesn't look like the BJP is opening its account in any of these states. Now, if you take this alliance, that is to say the BJP-TDP alliance, out of the picture, then where is the Modi effect? Now, you could say that the Modi effect is in the alliance that Chandrababu Naidu decided to forge with BJP. But other than that, at least from if these polls are correct, BJP is not opening its account.
The Modi
it's
effect is in votes, not in seats. Yeah. It doesn't have enough to get votes, but it has seats, but it has enough to get push the
but even
TDP
in seats,
3-4% ahead.
TDP is getting 15, isn't it? TDP plus is 15. And so how many do you reckon
I wouldn't be
BJP?
surprised BJP gets 1 or 2, but the question is,
Yeah, but
they will
that's-
help the TDP.
But BJP always had a vote share in any case.
Yeah, but
no,
very
the
small
point
vote
is that
share.
even in 2004, BJP in Andhra Pradesh did not do badly as far as vote percentage was concerned. So where is the impact of
I
the
think the
Modi
impact
factor
really
in
is
this election
it's on
in
the,
South India?
Zoya, I think it's on the NDA. You see, the NDA is doing better. Even in Tamil Nadu, the NDA has got 3 seats. The BJP on its own would get nothing. But it's got an
BJP
ally
on
now,
its own
guaranteed
got
with
4
at least 3
seats.
But
seats
you know,
from 0.
alliances
I mean,
are
it's just
very
smart.
often for one election. So this doesn't necessarily
yes, yes,
indicate
yes. No, no, it's just this
that
election,
BJP has
that's
been
true.
able to.
All these alliances can be
make a
totally
headway.
different next time.
that's
It's
They
not a
allow him to
permanent,
be
yeah.
seen as a winning horse, so everybody's piling on to him.
So
I think that
the-
is what
the
he does rather than
story
actually
is
gets
actually
votes.
the Congress failure to make an alliance. I think that's the story.
big
No, in both
that's
Tamil
there.
Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, there is a small error here, because in Tamil Nadu we had 4 seats during Vajpayee's NDA government. We had
Right.
4.
Right.
Now the percentage has not wavered from in Tamil Nadu. The winning combination was very lucky for us at that time. Once we had DMK, once we had ADMK, and we could do business with both. The regional party was not there, so the vote percentage of BJP was intact in places like Kanyakumari, and then the border area of Kerala, Coimbatore and other such places. There we have not gone down well. But the Congress alliance with either DMK or ADMK, if the BJP went with DMK, the Congress went with ADMK and vice versa. So that
also-
affected these things. But now this time what has happened is the vote percentage is intact. It doesn't go anywhere.
So whether
only
you're saying
moves.
it will be a lasting
now,
impact.
when BJP has an alliance with ADMK, the vote percentage is easy to be shifted to ADMK.
Right.
But if BJP has an alliance with DMK, the vote percentage doesn't go to the DMK. These votes are not transferable to
Anybody.
DMK.
Yeah.
This
But
time
what
the
is
advantage
actually-
is ours.
I think-
Number of votes are intact and we are getting them, plus the votes of other non-BJP, non-ADMK, non-DMK votes.
But
Right.
the point you're
Just
making,
one
Mr.
last
Chari,
thing,
is that
Zoya.
the vote is intact, but it's not increasing.
Of course.
But just
So
one last
that's-
thing about the impact of the BJP alliance in Andhra Pradesh. Really, the boost to the TDP came after that alliance was announced. Before that, the TDP was floundering. Maybe they feel, okay, with our party got a relationship with the center, we'll get better, the state will get better benefits or
You may be
whatever.
right. You may
But that alliance has made a big difference to the
Yes,
fortunes.
I think you're right on that. You're
on that
absolutely
Frankly,
right.
I wonder if Mr.
And the
Chidambaram
failure
had
of the
an
Congress
inkling of
alliance
the
was the
enormous
failure.
damage he was going to do on the party when he made that late night announcement.
Frankly,
Mr.
frankly, there is a Modi vote here
We
as well,
haven't been
because
able
the TDP may get it in Modi's name because BJP doesn't have enough of critical mass. But there is a Modi vote. But having said that, I think the important thing is, at the end of this election, unless it turns out the way the Indonesian elections,
Yeah.
and for your sake,
Don't
and
even
Dorab's-
talk about that.
For your sake and Dorab's, we hope it.
No, no,
and
we'll
for all
blame
our
you.
sakes, we hope that it
We'll
doesn't.
blame you.
And it won't because
No, I
we
think
trust
for
you
our
people.
sake, it should be the Indonesian.
But Congress party,
Indonesian
when
election.
they
I'm
do
sorry,
their
speak
next
for yourself.
reflection or introspection or whatever, they have to line up their political managers and spank them, because they've all been sitting in Delhi, tweeting, leaking or sulking or trying to poison each other's lunch, right? Whereas the party has lost this entire election. They've worked on the presumption that the election is theirs. They have allowed this election to become a for Modi or against Modi election. It's a presidential election with one candidate. So you either vote for Modi or you vote against Modi. This is the most ridiculous way of going to a poll.
Okay, let's just move on because we have so much ground to cover. Let's do another 4 states. We'll do Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and Orissa, all kind of next door to each other. Let's quickly go through them, and a fascinating story emerges, you'll see at the end. Let's start with Jharkhand, and let's have a look at the seats forecast for Jharkhand right now. Remember, seats, there are 14 seats there. The latest is BJP 12 out of the 14, sweeping Jharkhand. 12 out of the 14, that's a gain of 4 since last time, and the Congress 2, down 1. Let's have a look at the vote forecast. It's for the BJP is forecast to get, let's have a look, here it comes, 45%, BJP 45%, and the Congress 22%. That is a pretty bad showing in Jharkhand. Quick look at the trend. It tells a story in itself, how the BJP has just done better and better and better since February. It started Lok Sabha with 8-3, dipped a bit after the years of rule there, down to 6, and then just look at what happened. 10 and this time 12. So 12-2 from 6-4 in February. A huge yawning gap emerging there. Let's have a look quickly at Chhattisgarh, then West Bengal, and then Orissa. 11 seats in Chhattisgarh, BJP 8, down 2 since last time. That's talking about the 2009 Lok Sabha. Congress 3, up 2, but still a sweep for the BJP. 8 out of 11 is very, very powerful. Let's have a look at the trends here. What does it look like? In Chhattisgarh, 10-1 in the last election, down 10-9 in February, March to 8, and this time the BJP remains at 8, so it's kind of plateauing out, but 8-3. And let me tell you, the difference between 8 and 10 and 8 and 9 and 7 and 10 in small states, the error can be magnified. It's quite tough to forecast small states. Let's have a look at West Bengal, big state. West Bengal, 42 seats here. Trinamool Congress, 30 out of the 42, a gain of 11 since the last election. The left, 8, down 7, from 15 down to 8. And the Congress, 4, and all of these are in the Malda area, where they're just holding on there against all trends. Ghani Khan Chaudhry's, right, Dorab?
Yes.
Most of this is from there. Votes in West Bengal, let's have a look at that. The Trinamool Congress, pretty high at 44%. The left, 23%, and the Congress, 12, but again, most of it from one area. That's why it's getting seats. If that was all across the state, it would get no seats at all.
And do we have any data on what vote percentage is BJP getting now in West Bengal?
Much lower than this, yeah.
Much lower.
Yeah.
But
Much lower than 12 now, so they're below Congress now.
Yes.
vote
I think
percentage. So that's a reversal of trend.
Yeah, but
Yes.
Because initially they were
Little bit above, yeah.
coming to
This
14,
Malda,
that's
14.
right.
yeah, but this Malda area has suddenly made the Congress has suddenly come alive in Malda, if our poll is correct.
BJP was 12%, but no seats.
No seats.
No seats, because it's spread right across. The advantage the Congress has, its 12% is focused in one area.
Pranay, you are not allowed to say if our poll is correct.
Okay, sorry.
I
when
can
our
say
poll
if
is
your
correct.
poll is correct.
Yeah, when our
Your
poll is correct.
You have to say my poll is correct.
Yes, sorry. At least for another 2 weeks I can say that. Another few weeks. Okay, let's have a look at the trend in Bengal. This is what it looks like, and then we'll go on to Orissa finally in this bunch. The TMC in the last election, 19-15 on the left. Our first poll in 12, 32 to the Trinamool and 9 to the left. In March, that had plateaued off to 28, and the left remained at 9. And it's more or less plateaued, 28-30 and 9-8. And these are very marginal differences. And don't forget, the Congress there has got the balance for. Now, finally, let's have a look at Orissa and this bunch of states. Here's what Orissa looks like. 21 seats in Orissa. The BJP, 13. That's down 1 since last time. That is a bit of a surprise, a bit of a shock. The BJP, 7. That's a gain of 7 since last time. Congress losing, again getting decimated here from 6 down to 1. And let's have a look at the votes here. The votes in Orissa, 21 seats, BJD, Mr. Patnaik, 44%, gain up 7, and BJP 31%, and the Congress 16. We'll bring you the trends in a minute, because this has been, Dorab, quite a decline in seats for the BJD. I think in the beginning you were forecasting like
16, 17, 18, that's
18
right.
out of
Really
21,
18,
now it's
yeah.
down to 14.
But the real surprise is the increase in the BJP votes suddenly out of nowhere. They're now up to 31%. You know, it is the Congress votes, the Congress loss has moved entirely lock, stock and barrel to the BJP.
Right, right.
And Dorab, if the movement is so strong, if the trend has been so strong, you see it continuing in the same direction?
That is
what happens normally in elections?
The trend tends to continue as long as somebody doesn't make a big mistake. I think Arun Jaitley told us,
Yeah.
you know, they're basically now, they've got the last 2 overs of a match, they've got 12 runs to make. They make singles, they don't have to hit a 6. Because you hit a 6, you get out.
Well, they have to send Yuvraj to bat.
Then no chance.
The assembly goes to the poll at the same time.
Yes, yes.
Sudhindra, in these 4 states where the BJP has picked up in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Orissa, does that surprise you? I mean, doing well in Chhattisgarh.
What is most significant from the point of view of India's development is Jharkhand. Jharkhand is the richest mineral rich state, but since its formation, it is one of the worst governed states, and 2004 onwards, the Congress has really played politics in such a dirty manner, misusing the governor, putting in place a completely unrepresentative chief minister. So it has become a kind of a playground for both political corruption, financial corruption, and I think that the people of Jharkhand are now wanting to see a new beginning, and this very strong backing for the BJP is perhaps a reflection of their desire to see a strong government at the center helping Jharkhand to come up.
Right. Ram, can I just bring in, get your views on West Bengal? I heard somebody said in a conversation that it's a one person, Mamata Banerjee has done this whole thing, and somebody said, no, it's not just one person. There's a second group that's helped her. The other person said, who's that second group? Well, the CPM leadership has helped her a lot, local leadership, because they've not fought back. It's like people saying the Congress leadership has helped Modi, not fought back. What has happened to the local Bengal leadership?
I think it has a long way to go before it rebuilds from the ground up. It has been in retreat because of the offensive, also the strong arm methods of the Trinamool Congress with the state apparatus backing them up. So it's going to take quite a while for the state leadership and the local leadership to develop the capabilities to fight back. But that is understandable for a party and movement that has been in the saddle for such a long time. So it's a question of time. Already there are some signs of disillusionment, disenchantment with the ways of the Trinamool Congress in government. Local issues have been raised up, students have raised it, but I think it's going to take a while before the impact is to be felt. Of course, much depends on the quality of the leadership and who comes to the fore, but right now
do you think
it is on the
do you think it
defensive
needs a
and it has
new,
been on the
fresh,
retreat.
young, aggressive leadership?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that properly.
Sorry, do you think the left in Bengal needs a new, fresh, young, aggressive leadership? Or the same leaders have to find themselves and to fight back?
No, it's an aging leadership. There are some veterans who are still active, but I think there is a clear need for the left and particularly the CPIM organization to find a new leadership which is imaginative and is capable of rebuilding. There's no question that that is the requirement for the left, yes.
I think that's a big decision.
That's going to take a while.
I just wanted to ask you, Chari, about Orissa. Just your quick comments on that. Let's have a look at the trend in Orissa. What has happened since February, March, April. If you look at Orissa, this is what it looks like. We look in the Lok Sabha, the BJD had got 14, the Congress 6 out of 21, the BJP nil. In February, the BJD had gone to 17. The campaign hadn't really started. The Congress had fallen to 3 and the BJP just about creeping up to 1. Then in March, BJP still not picking up, more or less 0. The BJD going up to 18 and the Congress remaining at 3. Not very happy with that, I'm sure. But now look at what happened in this poll, and it's very, very clear. The BJD has dropped from 18 to 13, 5 seats in 1 month. And the BJP has gained those 5, plus 2 from the Congress. Basically, a lot of this has been Congress votes shifting to the BJP and some of it the BJD vote, but mainly the Congress vote shift. The Congress is just now, the ground is falling away from under it, and the BJP, that's 0 to 7 in 1 month, is unusual in an election.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's actually what has happened is the Congress never gave up. I mean, like they never put up a show that they are very serious contender for any seat in Orissa, because they don't have a local leadership, and none of in these 2 months, no major campaign was undertaken in the Congress camp in Orissa. In fact, some of the congressmen openly told us, some of the candidates practically wound up their offices and said, we are giving up. This was the situation. It's very bad to say this about any other political party. We should not be saying it. But it was really bad. I mean, we would have really expected if the Congress had taken up on JDU, BJD, and if they had affected BJD. There are some constituencies where BJD is very strong and BJP cannot really get into those constituencies except the Congress. But Congress doesn't have local leadership, Congress doesn't have a will to fight. And this situation, of course, as a political party, we are expected to exploit this situation. So Narendra Modi addressed 4 meetings there in quick succession, and that changed the table for us. I think another campaign, one more campaign there.
Again, I should mention that this may not be a reflection of the state assembly elections, which are going simultaneously, and it's very clear that people do vote very differently.
In fact, if you compare Bihar and Orissa, it wouldn't surprise me if both Naveen Patnaik and Nitish maintain a solid lead
in the
state, as far as the state assembly election is concerned. It's
of
clear
course,
here.
Nitish is much later.
Right.
This is simultaneous.
Yeah, this is simultaneously. But in terms of whatever surveys are showing.
Yeah.
But the implosion of the Congress vote.
Yes.
And adding to that BJP's residual percentage in any case, I think has put BJP in a position to actually win seats that even the Congress was not in a position to take from the
Pranay,
BJP. This is correct.
If you were in Odia today, what would you think of the Congress? That 15 years back, we got rid of J.B. Patnaik, right? We hated him. We've been voting against him. For 15 years, Congress hasn't given us another leader. And where is J.B. Patnaik? He's relaxing in a Raj Bhavan, right? It's not as if he's been punished. He's in Assam. I'd even forgotten. Only traveling in Assam, I checked who's the governor, Mr. Patnaik. Never say die. So, on the other hand, Congress has seen in Odisha to have misused the powers of the central government in an unconstitutional manner to block all industrial development in Odisha. It may be true, it may be false, but in politics, perceptions matter. And that perception, the Congress party has done nothing to counter that perception. In fact, Congress party has tried to ride that perception to get more votes. That tells you how far removed the Congress party's strategists or the Chanakyas today are from the reality of this new India.
Right. Let's move on now. That's very true, actually. Let's move on to Delhi, Kerala, Karnataka, and you'll see trends. And there may be an answer to a question you asked earlier, Shekhar, about do these trends continue or do they die away? Let's have a look at Delhi first. And here we also have seen quite a major change in the last 1 month. Here's the seats forecast out of 7 seats. BJP is now heading at 6 out of 7. This is the first time we're seeing them doing that. And the Aam Aadmi Party won, and the Congress nowhere. Let's have a look at the vote position. Here's what the vote position looks like. The BJP in Delhi, out of the all 7 seats, BJP 42%, a gain of 7% from the Lok Sabha and 9% from the Vidhan Sabha. That's recently the Vidhan Sabha, they got 33, they've gone up to 42. That's a huge change in just a few months. The Aam Aadmi Party from the Vidhan Sabha is down 3, obviously 27 since the Lok Sabha because they didn't exist then. So 42 to 27, not wiped out by any means, but just not gaining that many seats because of BJP's gain going up to 42. And look at the Congress, down 43% since the last Lok Sabha election and 11% since as recently as the Vidhan Sabha. Again, just it's a general trend you're finding, Shekhar, that the Congress is just killing itself.
Look, I haven't seen the rest of your poll yet. I mean, nobody except you has. But I think you can now see a larger trend, which is that a large number of people in this country, in our country, are now voting for a central government. They are not voting for or against a person or a party, they are voting for a central government, and they think only one coalition is capable of forming the central government. That is the biggest mistake made by the Congress party. Of course, odds were against them. But to go to the polls saying, I'm not in the race, it's like, it reminds me of this Bangladesh captain after Bangladesh lost the match to Hong Kong in T20. And he said, look, we are a test playing country. It's very difficult to motivate yourself again an associate nation. So Congress party looks like, we'll lose this time, there'll be khichdi, next time we'll come back. In politics, next times are not so easily found. You can't take them for granted. There is no second innings for granted.
Let's have a look at the trend in Delhi in the last 2 months then. What does it look like? In the last Lok Sabha, BJP got nil, the Congress got 7, clean whitewash. In our first poll, the Congress went down from 7 to 1. The Aam Aadmi Party was 4 and the BJP 2. So 4 to the Aam Aadmi Party, 2 to the BJP and 1 to the Congress. In the last poll in March, it reversed itself. The BJP trend was going up. It went up from 2 to 4. The Aam Aadmi Party has started dying away a bit from 4 down to 2. Congress maintaining 1. And now, in the last 1 month, the BJP from 0 to 4 to 6 now. The Aam Aadmi Party 2 to 1 and the Congress decimated here. Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, lots more states, including...
once again, it may be different for the state in Delhi?
Yes, could be very different because there the Aam Aadmi Party may fare very differently.
Also because they have a leader in Delhi.
Yeah, exactly, all right. We'll come back and discuss Delhi, but also we've got Uttar Pradesh coming, we've got Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, huge state and surprising results there. See you in a moment from now. Okay, let's go straight into the seat forecast in Kerala. We've been down there and in the last 1.5 weeks since we've been there, there's even then been a change. And it's, as Shekhar was saying earlier, it was a trend that's being maintained. And let's have a look at the seat forecast now in Kerala. This is what it looks like. When we were there, we said 10-10 to the LDF and the UDF. At the moment, it's 12 to the LDF and 8 to the UDF. So it went from 10-10 to 11-9 and now 12-8. So the LDF is generally maintaining this momentum upwards. If you look at the vote percentage, again very narrow margins here in Kerala. Vote percentage for the UDF 44%, down 4% since the last election. Of course, it formed the government as well. The UDF 45%. LDF 45, that's up 6 since the last election. And that trend, Shekhar, as you were asking, sometimes the trends, mostly they do tend to continue, and that's happening in Kerala as well. Now, let's have a look at the seat trends since the last few polls, over the last few polls. 20 seats, last election, 16 to the UDF, the Congress-led UDF, and 4 to the LDF. In our poll in February, narrowing a bit, 13-7. In March, narrowing even more. Let's have a look at that. The LDF just taking the lead, 11-9 in March and now 12-8. So there is that trend that has continued. Quick look at Karnataka. We'll go through it because we've just been down there. But even in the last week, there's been a small change because results are coming in more and more constituents. We're just doing continuous polling all across the country. Congress now 14 out of the 28. Let's have a look at the BJP. BJP 12, down 7 since the last elections. And the Janata Dal S2, Kumaraswamy and Mr. Devagowda still holding on to 2, that's down 1 since last time. Quick look at the trend here as well. Seats trend in Karnataka. Oh, first let's have a look at the votes. Congress 40%, again a swing of 2% in its favor since the last Lok Sabha elections. The BJP 39%, down 3. and the JDS 13 -1. Actually, let me just bring in Ram here on these two states before we go on to the next one. Ram, trends have been continuing here. One, the LDF on the rise. We saw while we were there in Kerala, the High Court criticizing the Chief Minister and his office for corruption. And in Karnataka, it was very clear that the bringing in of Yediyurappa, although he is not yet convicted, but he is charged with corruption, and Shiramalu bringing them in, people are reacting against this corruption plank, especially since it's been used against the Congress in the center, but now in the states it's no longer valid in Karnataka, and it's double that. Now you've got a center and state corruption in Kerala.
Yes, I think that's right. I wouldn't be surprised if the trend continued and the LDF ended up with 13 or 14 or something like that. And I think one of the reasons for that is that V.S. Achyutanandan is now strongly, is campaigning, a very popular man, is working very strongly with, it was to some extent divided, and I think his campaigning has proved extremely effective
very popular
in adding strength to the LDF's campaign. Once he comes in, I think he makes a huge difference, and if they work together, that makes a difference. As for Karnataka, I think that the trend will continue. I think the Congress is campaigning very strongly. That's one state where they are likely to do better than it looks today. I think it's going to be a very strong campaign for the Congress in Karnataka for the reason you mentioned. They are simply unable to explain this decision other than through opportunism.
Yeah.
Other than the explanation that we needed to come together. They have no answer to the question of corruption.
Yes, and also I guess to some extent the honeymoon period with Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister. He's been in the Chief Minister for 10 months, and that tends, Dorab, when you win an assembly election, you tend to do well if there's another election within a year after
Yes,
that.
and also, he's got 2 or 3 popular schemes for food, etc., for the poor, which are doing him a lot of good.
1 rupee rice for 30 kilos.
For which he's spending 4,500 crore. But, it's obviously
But Achari, was it a mistake? I mean, you're fighting, the BJP is fighting the Congress on corruption. And even though he's not convicted, Mr. Yediyurappa charged strong charges against that have stuck to him. And you split with him, then you bring him back, then you bring Sriramalu back. Was that a mistake? I mean, it seems to be, look at the trend. If you look at it, it's just been going down in Karnataka from originally, if you look at here it is, 19 to 6 in the last election. In the first poll, it had gone to 20. That's before all this had happened. Then Mr. Yediyurappa and Sriramalu came in, and then down from 20 to 16, and then down to 12. So from 20 down to 12, while the Congress went up to 6 to 14.
In the interview, the Chief Minister said to us that, I'm using these 3 or 4 names of people who've been to jail for 14 days, 18 days, 27 days, whatever it is. He's using that as part of his campaign.
Dorab, schemes apart, he's a very good communicator. See, in his language, he understands what his people need.
Who, the Chief Minister? Siddaramaiah.
Yes, he's constantly with the people. He's been going out a lot. He's in many ways a man of the masses.
But so is Yediyurappa, I think.
Well, in a way, yes, but Yediyurappa is now what Americans would call bad news. He's got trouble. I mean, he's got too much baggage.
Is this, Chari, a strategic mistake?
No, I don't think so. I know Siddaramaiah is not going to play a very important role as far as switching seats or votes are concerned, this way or that way.
Switching seats, you're not talking about Lotus.
No.
Operation Lotus.
No, not that. But what is
sorry.
votes percentage basically. But what is important is Yediyurappa is not that case. Yediyurappa brings in a huge chunk of his caste votes. And remember
but
one
it's
thing.
just like,
we
cynical politics.
No, I tell you, whether we like it or not, we made a huge
blunder by kicking him out.
Huge campaign in Himachal Pradesh against Veerbhadra Singh. and they were hard proofs. Even the Congress party was worried, and the chief minister said yes. But ultimately, what happened was, when he went and told everybody that, look, I am the Raja of this area, I am so rich, I own the whole state. Why should I?
No, I think you also fought against yourself. I think you had a terrible internal strife in Himachal.
No, not much, not really. But that didn't affect us.
But Seshadri
we can't help it. I mean, we campaign on a particular basis, and then it doesn't work. That's exactly what happens. But here, I think what now is the Congress has a good chief minister. He is able to really popularly put his own ideas together. But I think if he is able to keep the central leadership out for some time, it will be good for him. But now in the last 2 or 3 weeks, since the central leadership has gone and campaigned there, I think the trend will change. The trend will change in Karnataka.
Seshadri, if I can get into pick up issue with you on Himachal. Charges against Veerbhadra Singh were petty compared to charges against Yediyurappa. A couple of crores here, 3 crores here. This is a question of many more zeros, right? And the second thing, those charges seem to outrage one faction of the Congress party a lot more than even the BJP. and frankly, people who were working against him are just the kind of people who've destroyed the Congress party. They cannot get 5 votes even in their household. Right? I mean, if they held an election in their household, I think their dogs will beat them.
But you know, Pranav, I think in this, surely in Karnataka as well as in Kerala, the leadership effect is quite strong. Because in Kerala, it is definitely the Achyutanandan effect and left unity. And of course, as Ram very rightly pointed out, the left has a very good campaign. But again, in Karnataka, it seems to be leadership which is playing an important role. In West Bengal, again, it's leadership.
And again, a clean leadership in Karnataka.
Yes, but on the other hand, in Delhi, it's also very interesting because your poll, if it's correct, BJP is getting 6, AAP is getting 1. So here, it's not so much leadership, but actually BJP is benefiting from the disillusionment with AAP, which might well prove to be a flash in the pan.
No, also the fact that you can form a government, you have a chance of being in
people
the
are
government.
voting for a government
you know.
At the center, and it's very clear. People are very distinguishing now clearly between state and center.
No, but
and frankly, AAP has not gone down that much.
But in terms of seats,
I know you're a strong advocate of the
AAPist. He's an AAPist.
So only 3%
No,
down
I'm an advocate for
good, great
in
India.
in the sense that people want alternatives, and I think that they've come up and respond to.
And it's
but
an important issue of corruption.
But the mistakes that they've made are numerous in Delhi in terms of.
But to have dropped only 3%.
Yes, I mean, I suspect,
for a general election.
I suspect that as and when the state election is held, the Vidhan Sabha election is held, they probably will do better than this.
You cannot go to a national election fight seeking votes against the media and Mukesh Ambani. You got to give people a better choice.
But how affronted the media was when he talked against the media. Absolutely. That was like going too far. How can you?
You'd like to go to Tihar for a few days?
No, but Pranav, if I may say so, if resigning from the government was a historic blunder by AAP, then I think that will make an impact even on the Vidhan Sabha elections. Because after all, they were in power in the Delhi government.
But I do want to say that they're still only down 3%. I mean, this may be a trend that continues because they're not picked up, they've not gone beyond Delhi.
Can I suggest why this number may be a little bit misleading? Large pockets of Muslim voters in Delhi probably made up their mind on the last night or the day before the election. And in many areas, there's anecdotal evidence. I think in some constituencies, like Chandni Chowk, for example, it seems that Mr. Sibal has retained the support of Muslim voters. But in other places, that's not the case. So I think, I would rather wait to see finally how the result pans out.
The exit polls for that.
Yeah, exactly. I think exit polls give us a much better picture.
Okay, let's move on to Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra very quickly. And Sudhendra, I keep telling you should be here because these guys will never give you a chance. But anyway, let's have a look at Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Madhya Pradesh, a strong chief minister there, as well as the Modi effect in the north of India. Let's have a look at, out of the 29 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 26 to the BJP, a gain of 10 since last time. The Congress 3, down 9. Let's have a look at the votes. How does that mean? The BSP is losing its only seat according to this poll. And let's move on to the vote percentage. BJP percent, 50% of the vote here. That's again a swing of 7% in its favor. That's a magic mark to hit, 50%. Congress 37%, down 3, still getting nearly 40, 37%. BSP just in the northern parts bordering UP is gaining 4%, but not picking up its seats. Let's have a look at the trend, and it's again answering the question that Shekhar asked, do these trends continue? 16 to 12 in the Lok Sabha, first poll 24 to 4 in March, 25 to 4, and now 26 to 3. So,
can I interrupt for just
yeah,
a second?
please.
Shekhar's point about the trend continues asked in the context of Orissa.
Yeah.
Orissa wasn't trend, it was an explosion. I mean,
Right.
can you get an explosion every week? They'll end up winning 28 seats out of 21. That's the way that was going. So it has to flatten
after
out.
the explosion,
No, one doesn't know.
if you get another 1%,
Yeah, but what's happened, Shekhar, that
can
a
plateau.
lot of what the Congress has already shifted now.
Right.
Is there much left to shift? I don't know. That's why I said
There is nothing
here there
much
are
more to shift,
steady
probably.
trends, you know.
Right.
Well, this was an explosion.
Unless the
Very
BJD
different
vote
actually,
shifts.
right.
Yeah, correct.
Right. Let's have a look at Maharashtra, huge state, the important state of Maharashtra,
the second largest now.
second largest, 48 seats.
And so then
And
there's
what
my
does it
state.
look like? BJP 37 out of 48. It's really getting huge votes here at the moment, right across the state. We've polled it again and again, and it's gone up to 37, a gain of 17%. BJP Shiv Sena, Congress 9, down 16. Congress and the NCP and the MNS 1, gain of 1 seat. So 9 down 16 seats since last time, and others 1.
Could others
Vote
be Aam Aadmi
percentage?
Party in this case?
No, it isn't. Oh, actually,
I
is
think
it?
it is.
It could
I'm
be.
not
Sorry,
sure.
it could
I'm
be.
not sure,
Could be.
but I
Could
think
be.
it is.
I'll check that.
I think there is a. I think
Let's
it's
have a
good. I'm
look
not sure. I think
at the vote percentage. Vote percentage here, 48 seats. BJP 43%. BJP Shiv Sena, gain of 7, swing in its favor. The Congress 32, negative 7. And the MNS of Raj Thackeray 4%. But he's been, that's all in pockets that he focuses on. But not having a major impact this time in cutting into, let's have a look at the trends, in cutting into the Shiv Sena and the BJP votes this time. Now, last election, 25 to the Congress, 20 to the BJP. First poll in Feb showed already the BJP Shiv Sena going up to 33, the Congress down to 12. Of course, the Congress been in power locally for 15 years and in the center for 10 years. So it's a double anti-incumbency in this state. So to some extent, if you believe in anti-incumbency starting globally, any government at 10 years is wiped out. And if you've been in 15 years like you've been in Maharashtra, that effect is bound to also be negative. Then from 33 to 36, and the Congress down from 25, 12 to 10, and the latest poll, 37 to 9. So Dhendra,
Yeah.
this is an important, you're in Bombay right now. Is it local issues? Is it Modi? Is it the BJP at the center? Is it the Shiv Sena? What is the dominant factor and the secondary factors here?
There are a combination of factors. First of all, the Congress NCP combined is, after 15 years in power, highly unpopular, and there is no harmony between the two coalition partners at all. In fact, the Congress would like to see the NCP go down, so that when the time comes, it can rule the state on its own. The second factor is that, unlike in 2009, at least in several constituencies in western Maharashtra, near Mumbai, in Mumbai, the Maharashtra Nav Nirman Sena, MNS, has taken a very tactical position of not opposing the BJP, only fielding candidates against the Shiv Sena and other parties. This is certainly going to help the BJP. Third, in several constituencies, the BJP Shiv Sena has brought in small but local influential partners like the RPI Athavale group, the Raju Shetty group, which is very influential in southern Maharashtra among farmers. These are helping the alliance of the BJP and the Shiv Sena. But I must point out, which I had mentioned even earlier, that there is a strong undercurrent in support of Modi in urban Maharashtra.
So it's a combination of the two.
Sudhindra,
Sorry, go
can
ahead.
I ask you a question, Sudhindra?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Since you are the only Maharashtrian here, you think Ashok Chavan's entry has adversely affected Congress party's prospects, just as Yediyurappa's might have affected the BJP in Karnataka? And second, what is the impact of the loss of Anna Hazare to Aam Aadmi Party? Because Maharashtra was the state where this movement started.
You know, first of all, Ashok Chavan is not in the least a liability for the Congress. All reports from Nanded say that he is going to win. He is today in the Congress party. We should not really be identifying leaders with their caste, but the fact is that he's, he's seen as a Maratha leader, one of the few Maratha leaders with some kind of a mass base, and of course a legacy of his father and all. So Adarsh is not going to harm him in his constituency. Anna Hazare, you see, Anna Hazare is a product of Maharashtra, but he never was a political figure, and after the Aam Aadmi phenomenon, his own personal appeal and of course the Aam Aadmi party's appeal in Maharashtra is very, very marginal in this election. But you said that I'm a Maharashtrian, I'm also half Kannadiga. And I want to mention one point about Karnataka opinion poll. I had mentioned in the last opinion poll that the BJP is given much more than is warranted by the ground reality, 18 or 19, and this opinion poll shows that it is evenly divided between the BJP and Congress in Karnataka.
I'm sorry, can I make
In fact, the Karnataka BJP is slightly less than the Congress now.
Can I make one point of the Ashok Chavan business? Maharashtra is one state where the spoils of chori are fairly evenly divided across all parties. So if I'm in power, you get a piece of the action, you look at others, you get any scams, agricultural scams, they're all in it together. So nobody's done in, that's perhaps,
It's an
normally
all-party coalition for
correct,
corruption.
that's right. Unlike many other states where the government party gets the money, here in Maharashtra, everybody splits the action.
And I think resentment against the Congress NCP government. I mean, there were stories about Muslim villagers in Jetapur, in Ratnagiri, saying that we voted for Congress last time, but we will vote for anybody but the Congress, even if it means voting for Shiv Sena. Such is the level of anger, I think, and of course the implosion of the NCP. It doesn't surprise me. I think Modi's candidature, everybody makes a big thing about how Maharashtrians wouldn't want a Gujarati, but in the city of Bombay, where you have a large number of Gujarati voters or Gujarati speaking people, I think that would be quite a decisive factor, considering that the NDA lost six Bombay seats last time.
Yeah, that's right.
With
Shekhar is afraid of MNS. That is why he doesn't classify me as a Maharashtrian.
Because
Which I am very much.
He says domicile Maharashtrian. As if I said so. MNS will come after me.
Zoya.
But one thing, as Sudhindra said, Ashok Chavan, the Congress party is now grooming Ashok Chavan as their local leader for the next coming elections. They are not, they don't want, probably the Congress feels even if they don't win any seat in for this Lok Sabha, they should try and stop Sharad Pawar. And the general feeling among the
got their
voters,
priorities, as
that is
usual,
their priority.
messed up. Zoya?
And Sharad Pawar has, Sharad Pawar is wavering. Sharad Pawar's own people are saying that post-election, it's quite likely that if there is going to be a BJP-led NDA government, we would rather sit with them, because as he said, let's do business. Whoever is in business.
It's not just that. Look at the arrogance of the Congress party last 5 years, if not longer, but definitely 5 years. They've done everything possible to give Sharad Pawar a hard time, to humiliate him, to go after his interests.
But the reverse has been done in the state.
Well,
NCP
the reverse has been done in the state.
Congress is a senior partner. Congress is
Zoya,
the chief minister in
quickly,
the state.
you have
not
to shout with,
Very
there were
difficult,
no
I'm
chance,
afraid,
no
with
chance.
my fellow panelists. It's
Normally
rather
we
difficult to
believe in
do that.
NDTV, you don't have to shout to be heard,
Except
but I'm
for
afraid You have to shout to be heard here.
Anchor has to shout to be
No,
heard.
Zoya, go ahead.
Anchor also is having a tough
You know, I
time.
think I would express some doubts about the Maharashtra poll.
Right.
This may well be an exaggeration, as I said about UP. We are still
No,
going
you
to
could
hear
well
about
be
UP.
right. You could be right.
But I think I have some doubts whether this is correct. But if correct, then clearly the Gujarat effect is greatest in Maharashtra. And I think the point was made that probably the Modi effect may have been is probably greater here than anywhere else of the North Indian states, that is. Secondly, I mean, there is anti-incumbency. Congress has been in power
Yes.
for 15 years.
15 years and 10 years,
also their
so
leadership
double.
is divided and weak, and we should also not underestimate, you know, for example, the farmer suicides. Congress has handled it very, very badly. I mean, all of that has had some impact.
Okay, let's just move on to quickly go through the other states. Let's go through Gujarat, then Haryana, then Punjab, and then Rajasthan, and then get on to Uttar Pradesh. But first, let's go through those 4 states, and let's start with Gujarat. Gujarat, once again, basically a sweep here. Gujarat has 26 seats, the BJP 22 out of the 26. That's a gain of 7 since last time. The Congress 4, down 7 since last time. This, I suppose, is to be expected. Let's have a look at the trend, or do we have the votes? What's next? Let's just go straight to the trend. The trend for these 26 seats, BJP 15-11 last time to the Congress. In our first poll, it had gone up from 15 to 23, the Modi effect. In March, 23 went to 22, kind of plateauing off, and now it has stayed at 22. So more or less pretty reaching its peak there, 22-4 right now. Quickly into Haryana, this is Shekhar actually would do a better poll than Dorab on this, but out of 10 seats, this is what it looks like. BJP plus 6, that's up 5 since last time. The Congress 2, down 7, it's quite a blow to the Congress. And the INLD, Dorab,
Yeah.
jail impact, nothing. Mr. Chautala in jail, and it's still doing.
But in fact, if you see the hoardings in Haryana, they have Chautala's portrait, and it says, "Meri gair hazri mein mere aadmi ko vote do." Like, in my absence, give vote for my trusted colleague.
And
What
the
about
BJP
AAP?
plus its allies, Dorab,
No
what's
seats.
the breakup?
Sorry?
We're being asked BJP plus, what's the breakup?
But
Do you
it could be
remember?
something like 4-1, 5-1 or
Up
something.
0.
I was not sure.
4-2,
The BJP, not the
And-
next to AJC.
HJC 2 or 1 or 2?
1 or 2, yeah.
Okay.
But it's difficult.
Also, the
trend.
important thing is Maharashtra and Haryana both go for assembly polls later this year.
Yeah.
Yes, very important. And we heard Yogendra saying that's his main aim actually. Aam Aadmi Party not picking up here in Haryana at all. Let's have a look at the trend in Haryana very quickly. Remember last time the Congress did extremely well. Oh, this is the, we were going to the votes, but let's go straight on to the trend. 9-1 last time in the last elections. Congress did extremely well. And then it dropped dramatically to 3, and BJP went up to 7 in March. Let's move on quickly on to the next one. 5, and then the latest 6-2. So Congress doing pretty badly here. Let's move on fast to Punjab. Here are the seats forecast in Punjab. Akali Dal plus BJP just ahead now with 7 out of the 13, and the Congress at 6, losing 2 since last time. The votes percentage here very close. It's basically 45% to the Akali Dal plus BJP, and the Congress 44%. Quick look at the trend over the last 2 months, and you can see a continued trend, which is slightly reassuring in terms of polls, that they're not way out in what they're saying. 8-5, 8-5, and then in March 7-6, and now 6-7 actually. Yeah. Let's move on to Rajasthan quickly. Rajasthan, let's have a look at the seats. 25 seats there. BJP 21 out of 25, a gain of 17 since the last elections. And in terms of the Congress, 3 down 17. Let's just go straight to the trend after this. And all the votes and more details are available on our website, ndtv.com. So let's have a look at the trend in Rajasthan. Remember, the Congress did very well in the last Lok Sabha election, 20 out of 25. That seems a long time ago. In our poll in February, it was almost reversed, 19 to 5. Then in March, 21 to 3, and now the latest, it's 21 to 3. So, Ram, if I can ask you about, these are basically the BJP strongholds now. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar to some extent. They're making inroads into Orissa, and we'll have a look and see what happens.
BJP was never a force in Haryana.
Never was a force. It's becoming a force in Haryana, and not fully yet broken through in Punjab. But since most of its votes are concentrated in these areas, it's getting a lot more seats. It tends to get about 7 seats per percentage vote, while the Congress gets about 5 seats per percentage vote. That makes a big difference when you're talking about 30, 40% or 20, 30%. So is
yes,
this,
I think it's
sorry,
pretty clear that they're going to form the government. It's a complete reversal of 2009, and we can understand why it happened. The Congress really lost the plot. The UPA lost the plot, and this is overdue so far as Congress is concerned. But I think where the real news is that some of us were expecting the non-Congress, non-BJP parties to get a greater share of what was vacated by the Congress. That's not happened, and I think it's the effect of the national campaign by the BJP, and surely the Modi factor has added some momentum to that. That's, I think, pretty clear. It was clear from your last poll, and this seems to be seems to be getting even stronger. If that's the question I heard, I couldn't quite hear all the things you said, Pranoy, but that's the sense of what I get.
Ram, one of the other things which we are not showing today, but we will show later, but as far as we've seen in the current poll, we don't have time to show it, is the Muslim vote is not going to the BJP, and it's split amongst other parties. It hasn't, everybody talks about the tactical vote by the Muslims and they will vote for one side altogether. No, it's been split pretty equally amongst the other parties. So the BJP is gaining from that quite considerably.
Yes, that's an interesting finding of your poll. If Muslims don't see Congress as really putting up a fight other than a fight to be an effective opposition, then I think that it makes sense that that would happen. Because it's very, very hard to do a tactical voting across the land, across many states. I think a highly conscious constituency may do that in a particular part of a state or in a state, but it's too much to expect them to do it across India, especially when the Congress's star is really, Congress isn't its stock is virtually junk stock. So far as people are concerned, they do not expect anything from the Congress other than the voice of an opposition. And Muslims, I think, see that as well. So it's not surprising, but it's a very interesting finding of this opinion poll.
But Shekhar, would you expect as the voting day comes, there will be strategic and tactical, they will all shift, but it's too early right now?
Well, there may be some, but if you look at UP, Western UP is already done.
It's overdone, right? Everybody knows.
Plus, it's done. I mean, people have, time for shifts is over. The votes are in the machines.
10 out of the 80.
Yes. The problem is, for the Congress party, that they are not countering the momentum. They seem to be going with the momentum. So while, say, Punjab, I'll caution you in Punjab, it's very early days in Punjab. Punjab voting is on the 30th.
Yep.
Campaign has not yet begun. Now Mr. Modi will go there. And what will Congress party offer in return? Congress party has made a good move by putting Amrinder Singh up against Arun Jaitley. At least they've shown that they want to fight in Punjab. But having said that, if you make it a one-horse race, and if you say, I don't care whether I win or lose, I think statements from Congress party's top leadership that we don't care if we win or lose, how would you like to be playing in a team whose captain says, I don't care if I win or lose? It's almost an admission of defeat before the game starts. May the best team win.
They seem to have just sort of given up so far, and there's still 4 weeks to go. But
Well, and if you look at vote percentages, they still have a very strong core vote. So if they really worked on it, if they really fought it out, maybe there was a chance for them to make it much narrower. Even if they sat in the opposition, they would have then formed a much stronger opposition. And in forthcoming state elections, they would have sounded like, they would have looked like more credible allies for other parties.
okay, just let's quickly move on to Uttar Pradesh and then the overall all India picture, and we'll quickly wind up with that and look at the trends in the all India picture. Let's have a look at UP, the big state of UP, 80 seats. This makes or breaks any prime minister. 51. In the last poll we said 53, it's 51, but that's still up 41 since the last elections. Samajwadi Party now coming second at 14, down 9 since last time. The BSP 10, down 10 since last time, and the Congress coming fourth with 5, down 21. It did remarkably well in the last elections. In fact, it has more seats than anybody else.
This includes their allies, RLD, this time,
RLD,
who won
yes,
the allies
Congress
last
plus.
time. So there's some
Includes
juggling
Ajit
taking
Singh.
place.
Correct. Let's have the vote percentage in Uttar Pradesh. The BJP leading with, we have 38% of the vote. That's a swing of 21% in its favor. Samajwadi Party quite far behind at 22. The BSP at 20. And the Congress at 10. Now, this is a difficult state to forecast. So what we've done very differently this time is that we've chosen everybody that we go to by electoral rolls, because otherwise normal pollsters go to a village and then take every 7th house. We've said no, because then they don't really go to many of the BSP voters or the poorest of the poor. But if you take it randomly from the electoral rolls, you have to go deep in. You don't, I think there's a saying that us journalists don't like to go more than 20 miles on either side of a highway. So this, when you go for electoral roll, 20 miles is a lot.
20 miles is a lot. Just find the best dhaba on the highway.
On the highway.
On the highway, yes.
So if you go by electoral rolls, you have to find the person no matter if he's 100 miles from the highway. I don't know if there's anything that's 100 miles from the highway, but so we would hopefully not have underestimated the BSP, which earlier polls tended to do. But
yet the numbers are pretty low. I mean, especially considering the point right in the first program, if you remember the point Sharad Pradhan made from Lucknow,
right,
that disenchantment of Muslim voters with Samajwadi Party and Congress
and BSP because of their
I'm saying he said he would expect BSP to be a beneficiary of that.
But we found in
it's not capturing that somehow.
Yeah.
So
we didn't. We've got also the figures again, but we found that the BSP wasn't quite getting the Muslim trust yet.
Yeah. But I think given the size of the swing, I mean, in the point Mr. Ram made earlier about Tamil Nadu, I mean, when you have 38% as the top party, then next is 22%.
Yeah, you could get more
you're
than
looking
that.
at a clean sweep.
Yeah,
here,
it's pretty conservative. Now, if you really want to have a messy graphic, let's have a look at it now. Here it comes. Uttar Pradesh trends. This is the kind of graphic only those who make it understand. It's a disgraceful graphic. Okay, here in 2009, Congress 26, Samajwadi Party 23, BSP 20, and BJP the last. That was in the last election. In our February poll, the BJP went up to 40, and then, the rest were around the 15, 13, 12. Then let's go, BJP went up to 53, and the rest around 13 and 7 and 7. But the Congress, you can see, is declining secularly. Sorry, I meant secularly is a long-term. Not punning on that.
You keep repeating that mistake.
Oh, do I? Sorry. 51 to the BJP, so it went up to 53 and maintaining more or less that, and that the vote percentage could, if it gets that vote percentage, could be even higher. So 51, 14, 10, and 5 for the Congress. Okay, what does this all add up to nationally? Let's have a look at the national figures, all India figures, and the trends that has happened over the during the campaign. Okay, we're just going to come to that, but before, Uttar Pradesh, 10 seats have already gone. It's in 6 phases, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
do you think things are going to change dramatically? Can anything? I mean, it is the most charged campaign. People are making hate speeches, violent speeches. It's a negative, horrible campaign. Is that going to affect, polarize the voter more now? Do you think? Change things?
Well, looks tough because I think, and I'll repeat myself, people are voting for a central government. For a lot of people who don't have a strong reason to vote against Modi, now feel persuaded to vote for him because Congress is not offering an alternative. There is no, everybody is scared of the third front because we don't know what a third front is or how many third fronts are there. So those who fear Narendra Modi and BJP, or those who have other strong philosophical differences with him, or who have strong loyalties on the other side, particularly the Congress party, only they are not voting for BJP and Narendra Modi. So this has been made into a one-horse race, which means either you vote for, either you give more strength to this horse, or you stop this horse. But nobody is saying, who do you replace this horse with?
Let me.
Modi's opponents are not saying this is what we'll do for you.
Very true. Sudhindra, do you believe in that the voters are smart enough to do this tactical voting that not only Muslims but everybody decides where,
Just for this part. It's okay.
you know, which is the best person to defeat another, and they all get together? I have my doubts about it because I find that in our when we go out on the road, nobody really knows who's the second best candidate, and they all don't conglomerate around that. But do you think there is an element of tactical, strategic voting, constituency by constituency?
Pranoy, you know, your opinion poll may well turn out to be true, but nevertheless, I stick my neck out, as I did in the last discussion, that in Uttar Pradesh, the gain for BJP is an overestimate.
Overestimate.
You know, I have spoken to quite a few people in the BJP itself. You know, they are not giving the BJP more than 35-40 seats. Let's understand one thing, that in Uttar Pradesh, after Western UP, the Muslim vote is going to be quite critical.
Yeah.
It may get divided between the Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party and the Congress, but the Muslims of UP, as also Muslims elsewhere in the country, are certainly going to vote in a manner that is aimed at defeating the BJP so that Narendra Modi doesn't become Prime Minister. And this factor cannot be underestimated at all. Secondly, you know, the caste equations in UP will now come into play, and not always in favor of the BJP. Thirdly, the BJP doesn't have any great leaders in UP. It's not a very strong party in UP anymore. And therefore, you know, 51 seats is you know, from 10 to 51 is a very, very big jump, perhaps not called for.
Right.
Yes, right.
I think I would go along with what Sudhin Kulkarni has just said, because I think 51 in UP is clearly an overestimate. And I think this 51 figure underestimates the Muslim and Dalit factor in elections. And UP elections are going on for a whole month. Only 8 seats have gone to the polls. There's still several phases to go. And I do think that tactical voting will come into play, because as far as Muslims are concerned, at the moment there's nothing more important for them than to defeat Modi, and there is no evidence that there is any Muslim vote going to BJP, which means even though the Muslim vote may be divided, but the point is, I think that Mr. Kulkarni was saying was quite right, that it will still go to these 3 parties, which is to say the BSP, the SP and the Congress.
But if it gets divided between them.
If I can add 2 points. You know, go back to the first session that we had about a month ago, right? What's your biggest fear if the Congress gets elected? What's your biggest fear if the BJP gets elected, or Modi gets elected?
Yes.
Danger of violence. Now, I think the
communal violence.
Communal violence, exactly. I think Amit Shah's hate speeches and you know, has in a way sent a message to the electorate in UP that there could well be trouble. And my sense is that as we get closer to the election, this will backfire, not just in terms of consolidating Muslim votes, but I think even Hindus are going to think twice about this, that yes, we like the talk of development, but if this is going to mean violence, I think this is something that people are going to ask.
So you think that's going to kick in? Over
I think it will hurt BJP. Both in terms of Muslim votes getting polarized against it and also Hindu votes. But the second issue is that candidate selection, choice of candidates in particular seats. BSP, for example, fielding 17 to 19 Brahmin MPs, many of them who won in the past. Unnao, for example, you have Sakshi Maharaj, who is the BJP candidate. Decent or large Brahmin presence in Unnao. Will they vote for Sakshi Maharaj or for BJP, or will they stick to the, I think his name is Brajesh Pathak, the former BSP MP? You know, these are difficult choices that voters are going to make. And I think at the end of the day, the closer you get to polling date, less important the factor that, I mean, I think it's there in the back of people's minds, Shekhar, that, you know, so-called Modi factor or central government. I think these other factors begin to...
Surely, if I could ask you, I would ask Pranay, just one second, just one thing, and I'll just come. A point that Siddharth had raised earlier. If it's 38%, it could be more than 51 seats. If 51 is an exaggeration, it really means 38 is an exaggeration.
Absolutely.
So are you saying that it's how much? What's the sample size there? It's a pretty big sample size in Uttar Pradesh. So the people are not telling the truth. That's possible, and that happens. You know?
But in terms of votes, it's an increase of 17% from the last
elections.
Elections.
Elections. Yeah.
It's just, it does go up. I mean, it has.
No, but the point that was just made, which is that Amit Shah has cleared the pitch for Hindu consolidation, but equally it has encouraged, obviously, a counter consolidation by Muslims.
Let me say something. I don't have the right to say so on behalf of, say, Indian Muslims.
Right.
If I was a Muslim in UP, I will feel completely used by both groups. It's as if BJP and Congress and SP want to fight this battle to the last Muslim. The BJP is doing nothing to give the Muslims any reassurance. There's not even one word from anybody. On the other hand, you have hate speeches, Amit Shah being an example. But look at, on the other hand, what has Azam Khan done? Azam Khan's now pitched Muslims into a situation of confrontation with Hindus of the Indian army. It's never been done before, right? So I think we're putting too much burden on India's Muslims. You know, everybody who doesn't like Modi says Muslims have to save India from Modi. They're only 15% of India. So I think we have to give our minorities a break. We have to build, I mean, if you want to fight Modi, you have to build a proper politics. You cannot just say Muslims, all of you unite. In fact, this will have the effect of increasing the schism in Indian society.
Yeah, but
okay, I just want to get to the all India picture. And
because India, I'll take one more second. India is a secular country, not because its minorities want it to be a secular country. It's a secular country because its majority wants it to be a secular country.
Okay, all India picture. That's what we've been waiting for, and here it is. Let's have a look at the all India seats position and the trend. In February, we said the NDA would be 230 seats. In March, it had gone up to 259. This poll, if you add all the states together, it's 275. And on NDTV.com, you will see the state breakup and the change since last time and the vote in every single state and overall all India vote. Of that, the BJP 196 in the February poll, and then moving on, 214 in the March poll, and in the latest poll, 226 out of 275. So 275 is actually, we did every state separately and just added up and came to 275, but it is quite a politically important figure because it crosses that 272 mark. Let's have a look at the Congress and the UPA. Here's what it looks like. In the first poll in February, 128 for the UPA, 106 for the Congress. By March, this 128 had gone down to 123 and the Congress just down to 104. And now it's 111 for the UPA and Congress going into double digits for the first time. If you want to look at the seats and votes figures, just to confirm each thing that we've just seen, the final figures as of now, and there's still time. Here's the vote percentages. BJP, Lok Sabha 2009, 26.5. going to 30, going to 32.9 in March, and then 34.5 is what they stand right now across India. Remember, plus or minus 2%. Congress, 33.2 in the Lok Sabha, down to 26.8, stayed at around about that, and now down to 25.6. So now the gap, 34.5 minus 25.6, about 9%. And here the All India seats position, just to confirm the total tally, and all the breakup in detail is given on our website, ndtv.com. The NDA 275, remember the halfway mark is 272, BJP 226 out of that. We just saw that in the trend. And the UPA 111, the Congress, that's Nelson's, what's that in cricket? That's the worst number you can have, right?
Triple Nelson.
Triple Nelson or something like that, yeah. And the Congress
Umpire
92.
Shepherd used to stand on one.
But still, this is only in April and there's still 4 weeks to go. So Ram, in getting 275, that means it's a majority. The NDA will have a majority if this is correct, but of course there's plus or minus 2%. But does that mean all the worries about getting allies and negotiating and bargaining, that would be over, and it's a better thing for the country? Or Shekhar was saying last time that allies tend to keep the leadership in check. Which is better?
Yeah. I think it's much better if it's inevitable that a party like the BJP comes to power at the center, a party that has divided the country, the party that has been communal in the message it sends. If it's constrained by allies, the way, at least to the extent the Vajpayee governments, the two governments were constrained, it would be far better for the country. And I share some of the skepticism about, of course I'm far from Uttar Pradesh, but I share some of the skepticism there is about the numbers, seat projections for Uttar Pradesh and perhaps for Bihar. But if your poll comes right, then I think it's worse for the country. But let me point out that whatever happens, it's guaranteed that for the first time, as far as I know, in election history in India, the BJP would actually be ahead of the Congress in terms of share of the national popular vote. This is the first time, and that's, I think, pretty much guaranteed. Whether the seat projections come completely true or not, the BJP by itself
I share the skepticism
single
along
largest
with
party
you.
in terms
However,
of vote
it's the
share.
best effort that we can make. But I like the health warning, and we must give that last word with you, Chari, in terms of are you relieved to see that you will not need to go looking around for allies if this comes correct?
No, I think this can come correct, because going by all the kind of polls that you have done, the number of people you have approached, I think there is not much to be seen in this. Of course, it's going to be another grueling hard work for the BJP for the next 1 month. So we have to keep our fingers crossed. We have to do a lot of homework even now. But I think the nation, what people in the country feel today is we want a very strong leader, strong center, assertive, and who can really do something good for the people. Now, what they mean by all this is very different. They had great hopes from Manmohan Singh, they had great hopes from the Congress. 2009 was Manmohan Singh's election, but he very badly let down the people. And I think now people want to really punish the Congress party for that.
Right.
So I think from here we have to take off, and I can only assure people like N. Ram that he need not worry so much about it.
As I have to end tonight, I've been shouted at in my ear, so sorry. But as we end, I can hear fireworks on just outside, obviously celebrating, because New Year is being celebrated. So let's end on a completely different note. Forget elections for a moment. In various parts of the country, you've got Bihu in the northeast.
It has nothing to do with your predictions, I hope.
No, you've got it's nothing to do. Bihu in the northeast, Novoborsho in Bengal, Vishu in Kerala,
Also Ambedkar Jayanti today.
Sorry? Ambedkar Jayanti today. Correct. And Vaisakhi in Punjab. Just look how stunning the Golden Temple looks tonight. And as I wear the kara, blessed at the Akal Takht along with Shekhar. Good night and a Happy New Year.